Hello and welcome to this audio responsive Spline tutorial with xParticles. In this tutorial we will learn how to emit splines using xParticles. In previous tutorials, particles dance and interact to the music, and here in this tutorial we used xpDynamic tags to create particles on splines and they interact with the sound, or here we just created particles and emit particles and they were interacting with the sound using xpSound. If you didn't watch this tutorial, you can find the links in description. But for this tutorial, we will use xpSound and xpGenerators in xParticles. In generators, here xpGenerator, and in X-Particle Modifier, Control Modifier, xpSound. We will use xpGenerator to create and generate spline shapes. And also we will use C4D Modifier to shape our emitted splines. Here with modifiers in C4D we can easily shape our splines. And also we can use X-Particle Modifiers because all of these splines are also particles who are emitted. Then they are easily interact with the motion modifiers, for example in xParticles. We can use xpFollowSpline or follow surface, or for example xpTurbulence. And finally we'll use Redshift to render our spline shapes with the help of xpjoint utilities in xParticles. Now let's jump to C4D and start create our emitter. Here in Cydium xParticle we create a xp system, and here xpEmitter we select the object and change the emitter shape to a circle, and also the emitter plane to +y because we want in this direction emit all the particles emit. And now we see that particles are emitting, but here you can see that particles are emitting randomly from the surface. Let's make here emission the bitrate, for example only 50 particles, and now let's play. You see they are randomly, and this is not what we want. We wanted all particles just be one direction and just emit exactly in one direction. So for this we need just do one more simple step. Just here emitter and select object and offset X and Y, just deactivate it. And now let's play. You see all the particles are emitting only from the center. Let's select the xpEmitter emission and the speed, let's make it for example 50, and now let's play. And now you can see the particles at the center, they are emitting, and this is exactly what we want. They are emitting all of the particles only in one direction. Now we need to change and turn all of the particles to splines. So for this we need our generator. Here if we select generator in xParticle and generators, we just select here and xpGenerator. In xpGenerator we have here object and emitter. We just drag our emitter that we have here, but if we play you see all of the particles are gone because our xpGenerator need just an object or here an spline as a child. Let's for example select a circle here only and just drag it as a child of xpGenerator. And now if we play, all of the particles turn to the spline, but if you see here that they are only in 2D and the wrong direction. So what we can do here, select our circle here and plane just change it to X and Z, and now the splines are in the right direction. But if we here select the circle and object, we change the radius or make it smaller, we do not see any changes when particles are emitting. For this we just need to select xpGenerator, and here scale and rotation and offset, scale using instead of particle radius because now is based on particle radius. If we select here xpEmitter emission and radius, if you add to it, then you will add to the size of the circle, and if you make it smaller here and will be here also smaller, but we want control it here only based on the circle, and adding will be easier to add and make smaller here. So we back again to xpGenerator, scale, rotation, and offset, and here scale using just, instead of particle radius, we change to particle scale. And now we have control by moving and changing the radius, make it smaller, for example, and particles will be also changed to the small, and here bigger, and also particles, which is here splines, will turn to the bigger size. Now we can add even more splines here. For example, here we have circles. We can add an inside spline, just drag it here. Only what we must be careful is the plane should be in the right direction. For example, XY doesn't work, and we must select XZ. And also the size, also here we can play with it. And you see we have now two emitter shapes at the same time. We have created insides and interactive. You can add to the side, or you can make it, for example, less sides, and you can see you can easily art direct your splines. You can experiment with all of these splines that we have here. And because all of these splines that we have created here are also particles, then this dynamic that we have here, all of this will affect the splines, and also modifiers here, all of the modifiers that we have, for example, motion modifier, control modifier, also will affect our splines. Let's now just make a test and experiment with XP turbulence. And now you see particles are reacting to the XP turbulence. Let's make the strength, for example, 10. Here we can add, for example, dynamic, just here XP constraint, and connect at burst, we activate, and also at distance. And now we can see we can control the motion of particles using modifiers and also dynamics. Now it's time to add our xpSound modifier. Let's delete XP turbulence and also XP constraint. Here modifier, control modifier, just add xpSound. And here we need to upload our music. I have already created the 8 different segments, and usually between 6 to 11 seconds. Keep it short and separated will help you to have more control in C4D and in your timeline. Let's upload one of the segments here, for example the segment 4. And to hear the music in timeline, we just need add here the sound modifier here, and just drag it in modifier, and soundtrack, we will also load the same track, the segment 4. And if we play here, we can turn on and off the music in timeline. Let's add more frame here, 200, and now let's play. If we select our emitter and emission, let's make the speed 0. And nothing now is happening, even xpSound and the music is loaded. So we need to add here in map sound just more parameters. Let's add the first one, which is color. And you see something is happening. The color is changing. And now we need to add another parameter. And now here is speed. So here in color parameter, we can add more notes here. We can have more the color variations. And if we play, we will have more color variation. Also, you can play with the frequency, dB range. I will not go deep in all details. You can watch the previous tutorials. They are more in details. But for this tutorial, I just try to play a little bit with the parameters that I have here. And for the color, I am happy for now. I just go for a speed. Here with maximum, I can make it slowly, or by adding to it, make it faster. So you can also art direct based on your music and sound on your project. Let's stay with 100 for now, just a little bit make dB range lower. And with xpSound we can add another parameter, and this parameter is radius. And with radius we can control the radius of the splines based on the music. But here now nothing is happening and nothing is changing. If you remember, we select XP generator, and scale using was particle scale. We just need to change it to particle radius. And now you see that music, based on the music, the radius is changing in xpSound. Just let's select here, and now we have all parameters to play with. Let's add to, for example, frequency max, and also make dB range a little bit lower. Let's make it, for example, 15. And now we can see the Spline radius are changing based on the sound. Let's activate the music. After setting all of your parameters in xpSound and you are happy with the results, now we can make it even more interesting by using the C4D modifiers. For example, let's start with the simple bend here. And now let's drag it here in generator. And let's make it, for example, 360. And now let's see if we play. We have easily changed the direction of the particles. You can make it, for example, unlimited. And you can easily art direct your audiovisual using modifiers in C4D. Let's deactivate bend. And for example, we can use now the taper. And let's drag it here in generator. Let's a little bit position it to the top. And now we want to have some shape of the speaker. Let's say we want to keep it like here wider and here smaller, and this kind of shape that we want to create now. If we bring it to the minus, for example, minus 200, and now we just change it to unlimited, and if we play now, you see the splines following almost our taper. We can little bit make this more. Let's make this 300%. And now we see easily by using the taper, we just shape our splines here. And you can play with it. You can change the direction. For example, let's make it 90 degree. And here we created totally a new shape. And another modifier, we can, for example, try the bulge. Also, we can add it here. And if we add to strength, we'll make the different shape or make it less. Let's add to it, and it's almost same effect like that we have created with taper. Let's change the position a little bit to the higher. And you see how easily you can art direct your splines and give them the shape that you want using the C4D modifiers by positioning, changing the position, and also playing with the parameter here with the strength from minus to plus, and also changing, make it, for example, limited or unlimited, and you can create different results. And you see here then they are changing after that and create a new shape. And we can use now Spherify modifier, and just let's drag it here. And if you play, you see some changes happening. All of this happening in sphere form, but we want to be 100% in Spherify strength. We make it 100, and now all of this happen in sphere. Let's move it to the top, and beautifully now all of the splines are animating within a sphere form. You can add to the radius or make it smaller, and beautifully splines following the size of radius. And we can also use another one, for example the wrap, and let's add it here. And you see some small changes is happening here, and you can play with all of these parameters, cylindrical, also spherical, and you see we have another kind of changing the shape in another attractive way. You can play with the position and also the rotation. Let's make it, for example, 90%. Move it a little bit down. And we created a new sound waveform of the splines. Another three modifiers that I found interesting are Displacer, Spline Wrap, and Spline. We can test and see what we can do. Let's start with Displacer and just drag it here in generator. Nothing happened because we need a shader here. Let's add a noise shader. And now you see all of the spline shapes are changing. Just select here the noise, and you can play and change the type of the noise, and you see also here easily all of them are changing. Let's make the scale, for example, 500, and also you can animate it. Let's make it 1, and you see here the waves that we have created with Splines are more dynamic and they are more smooth motions, and you can also art direct it by changing the contrast, for example, or the brightness and the global scale and the speed of animation, and with the different type of the noise. Now let's deactivate the Displacer, and now we can select the Spline wrap. For Spline wrap, just drag it here, and now we just need an spline here. Let's create a simple rectangle and just change it to XZ, and here in Spline wrap, spline, we just drag our spline here, and you see we create some shape here. But if we select here spline wrap and change the axis from X to minus, and now let's change it to plus Y, and now you see we totally easily with just a click create a new form of the shape for our splines. Now we can add another one, which is spline, and now let's add it here. And in spline also we need original spline. Our original spline is our circle here, and modifying spline we just add again this rectangle. And now let's select our rectangle. You see here, let's move it a little bit down, and it's kind of morphing the splines from the rectangle to a circle. Even you can add few of the modifier together. For example, here we have the spline, and let's activate the Displacer. And now you see that we have two modifiers at the same time affecting our splines. You can add as much as you can modifier here based on your project and art direct it and create your own audio visuals. And finally, my favorite C4D modifier for this project is shrink wrap. Let's click on it. Let's deactivate the spline and the Displacer. Just drag it here. And let's say we wanted our splines follow the surface of the object. Let's here create a simple sphere. Just bring it at the top, that close to the emitter shape. And with NB, let's say we wanted our splines here follow the surface exactly like this, that they are following the surface of the sphere object. For this we only need here in shrink wrap target object, just drag our sphere here. Let's hold Alt and double click and hide it, and if we play, still nothing happens and they are not following the surface. For this, in shrink wrap modifier, just mode is on align normal. We just need to change it to the target axis, and as soon as we change to target axis, you see beautifully the splines are following the surface of our sphere. You can now change the object, and everything will be changed also to the new surface. Let's say, for example, we want to add a terrace object, and again we bring it to the surface. Let's click here and make a little bit radius smaller, bring it down, and also rig radius almost the same like our sphere. And in shrink wrap, just drag our terrace here. And now let's hide it again with Alt double click, and let's play. Now we can a little bit play more with the radius and see what we can get it. If we a little bit change it, you see we have a little bit more and different shape of the splines. They are creating, they are going to the sphere mode, and then they are back to the inside. You see easily the splines are following the surface of our object here, which is terrace. And now let's say we want to add a new object, for example a platonic, and change it for example to a octa. Let's move it a little bit to the top. And now if we select our wrap here, just drag our platonic here and Alt and double click, and let's play again. Easily we have created a new shape, and you can art direct it based on your project, and you can also experiment with the different shapes or any kind of 3D models that you have, and you can create your own audiovisual. Feel free to experiment with it. We can also use X-Particle Modifiers to shape the motion of our splines. If we select modifier here, motion modifiers, for example, we can select xpTurbulence and give a random extra movement to our splines here. If we want to be more precise and we want, for example, create a path and the splines follow the path like this, so we need to use another modifier. Here in modifier, motion modifier, we'll select and xpFollowSpline. In xpFollowSpline, we need to create a path first. So here we just create a helix and make it xz. Let's add to the height, for example, 300, and start radius, make it 40. And if we select our xpEmiter, we just right click animation tag, we add align to spline. And if we select the tag, we just drag our helix here and activate this tangential. So now let's play. Still particles are not following because here in xpFollowSpline we need also to drag our helix path here. And now they are following the path, but the direction is wrong. Here if we select xpEmiter and in extended data, general data, we just activate use rotation and select the exactly tangential here. And the axis also is important. Now let's play and see if everything is right. Here our splines are wrong direction, so easily we just select here and select the Y. And now let's play. Now everything beautifully follow our splines. Now you can see we have two modifiers. One was xpSound modifiers that we have selected in from control modifiers, and now we add xpFollowSpline from motion modifier to control the direction of the splines. Another modifier that we can add here in motion modifier is, for example, xpDrag. And in xpDrag density, we can select, for example, heavy water that will be a little bit more difficult to move. And now let's play. And now some of the splines are following and some of them staying where they are. And in mapping, if we add here mapping, and here in parameter, we can change, for example, the strength and map it to, instead of age, to radius. And here in xpSound, if you remember, here we have map parameter, minimum and maximum 0 and 100. And here in xpDrag, we can also use the range from 0 to 100. And let's see what kind of results we'll get. You see some of them, they based on the radius change, they are following the splines. And you can manipulate here with the different mapping graph, and you can art directed, or here the minimum range you can change it, for example, to 25, and easily art directed based on your project. Let's back to the 0 here, and now let's play with the music. Feel free to experiment with other motion modifiers here and see what you can get with your music. Now we will use Redshift and also RSObject with the help of xpJoin to render our splines. If we play here in our render view in Redshift, we cannot see any spline render. We need an RSObject, but before add an RSObject here in Insidium, in xParticles utilities, we just add xpJoin. It's important that we put xpJoin as a child of xpGenerator and the circle or our spline here as a child of xpJoin. Now we can select xpJoin, right click and render tag, add our RSObject here. In the mode we select, for example, cylinder, and now if we play, we can see in our render preview they are rendered. But now we will need to add material. Let's say double click, add a new material, just drag it here on our xpJoint. And now let's play again. All colors gone. So just double click here and double click here and just search color user data and double click, select it, and here out we select to the color, and if we select color user data, you see all of the colors are gone. And just select here, and in our attribute preset we select object display color, and now all of the colors are back. Let's say you want to change them to the light instead of material. Just double click and double click here, just right here incandescent, double click, just drag it here on the surface. They are turning all to the lights, and now just drag it here and illumination we select color. Easily we have changed the colors to the lights. For example, here we can add to intensity or make it less, and art directed based on your project. If you want to turn these splines to the 3D model and 3D objects, you can easily here select with the sweep object. Let's drag it here, and before make the XP generator as a child of sweep, let's here select and connect all of splines. Just drag it here as a child of connect, and now we can add it as a child of sweep object here. Now only we need to add, for example, a rectangle shape here. Just drag it here, and let's make the width, for example, 20 and the height also 20. With NB we can see now easily we turn our splines to 3D models and 3D objects, and they are also interacting with the music. And also you can change the shape of the rectangular. For example, if you don't want to use rectangle, we can, for example, select inside and just drag it here, and let's make this also 25, and you can add to the side or make it less, and you can easily play with the size and the radius and create new shapes and 3D models from your splines here. And if you want to turn all of splines to liquid type of material, easily you can do it in here in generator. You can select open VDB measure. Let's take it out of sweep object, just delete it, and if you select XP open VDB measure, just drag our connect object here. Now we just add a filter here, for example Gaussian, and we have created a liquid type of material for our splines, and they're beautifully interacting with our music. Feel free to experiment and see what you can do with these techniques that you have learned.